Annyeonghaseyo, this is meowmurai. Let's continue our game with the First Descendant running on PC.
특별한 인간 아이야. 무엇이 필요하냐?
Nano compounds? Huh. Well, that sucks. What are we using for him? Yeah, that's right, I think we're still playing with next level recipe. Yeah, so killer recipe was pretty good. Oh, well, I guess we're using it right now. We'll have to switch later. Yeah, can't change it. All I want to do is look at it for just a second. That's what I get. Oh, even my gun is corn colored. It's just coincidence though. Oh, that's right. I said I would go through these and start taking out stuff which I don't think I need. Or things that I probably practically would not need. That I'm sure I'll regret later. Because that is the nature of changing things. Real porn. Getting down the hot coals. Double Dragon Revive. I have heard of it. I think I might have even seen the trailer. But now it kind of escapes me now that you say it. Okay, let me look at this stuff. Auxiliary power. I'm going to sort by name. Alright, why do I have 4 of these? Module drop, MP recovery, Kuiper drop, MP out of combat. These are the same thing. 874. We'll get rid of you. Kuiper drop, module rate increase modifier. Got 2 supernovas, one for Kuiper, one for... you know what, I'm probably not going to ever do the Kuiper thing. Yeah, there are a lot of different varieties. I guess I do have like one of everything. Let's see, get rid of this one. Let me see, is it Classic Double Dragon? Oh yeah, Classic Double Dragon. Doing a 3D engine thing. I mean, I don't know necessarily if that's good or bad. Well, it's like Garu. Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm willing to give it a shot. Although it's kind of hard to do, kind of hard to make that beat 'em up genre super interesting. I know like there are a ton of people that still kind of cling on to that genre. But like I said, it's just sort of tough to make it something that you would want to play for. Like an arcade game is only good for like less than an hour. I think the original Double Dragon, you can beat that in like 20 minutes. And then even something like Super Double Dragon, I mean, that was like I think that was like a 30-minute game at the most. Yeah, because they're just inherently like kind of repetitive games. But that being said, I think the last time they did Double Dragon, I thought was pretty good. That was with the super deformed characters. Let's see. I doubled up on all my processors. I mean, we'll see. They just released the what was it? The Kunio collection, or the Kunio collection that featured just the Double Dragon. Because I just saw it on the Nintendo store. I'll have to look on the store again. You know, I actually haven't used him for this. Arc Systems? I mean, Arc Systems has been doing the Double Dragon games for a while now. Because it's pieces of the IREM team. IREM and Taito. Oh, nice. Crash. It's weird that it would crash on that one mode. Yeah, so they're actually the most appropriate people to do it, besides them too. But Arc Systems is actually, I mean, they cover like a large variety of games. Like we're kind of used to seeing them behind the fighting games, but they've been doing all sorts of other games too. and usually a pretty good job. Every once in a while they'll have a project that's a little bit too low budget, and you know, they don't spend, you know, they're not a AAA studio or what's considered a AAA studio, but they do make good stuff. It's just not all good stuff. Yeah, they're good at the cell shading style. Yeah, but they, you know, I mean, they're kind of well known at this point in time for the Guilty Gears. But you know, they made that hardcore, spiritual hardcore sequel. You know, Contra Hardcore. I think it was just called Hardcore. They do like a bunch of like little strategy games. Yeah, a bunch of stuff in Japan. But like I said, not always like 100% good. But I think they get picked because it's since it's a smaller studio, then they can keep their costs down. So sometimes they get picked for these lower cost projects. It's been a while since I've even worked on this mode. since the characters that we have been working on have already got max arc levels. Ooh, that's fell right off the edge. Yeah, he seems to be pretty good with this mode as well. I thought he'd have a little trouble with the bigger open areas, but you know, this, at least with this this arc, this Transcendent arc, he's just fine. God, all three of us are Blair.
않아. 고생 많았다고 할래.
You want another Persona fighting game? Yeah. I mean, I would imagine that they would have it on the books for. Well, it may take a couple of years. I think all those Persona games have been pretty successful, especially lately. Yeah, I don't think I own the Persona fighting game. Was it Persona Arena?
병력 강화 완료. 수송선은 근접 항공지원 대기할까? 컨트롤 빈다 계승차. 불태워.
계승자, 적 병력이 대량으로 전송되고 있습니다. 원점을 공격해야 합니다.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that people don't really talk about that game. Or at least the fighting game community. Although that community, you know, likes a very limited number of games. So, maybe that's not altogether fair. Yeah, the FGC. I mean, depending on which portion of the FGC you're talking about, you know, I either really like them or I think they're kind of stupid.
전술 수송기, 계승자 위치로 이동 중. 근접 항공 지원 가능.
You know, I love fighting games, but yeah, probably would never like associate myself with an FGC tag. Just because it's kind of a snobby community. You know, friendly. Mostly friendly. But you know, there's only like a couple of fighting games they consider good fighting games, acceptable fighting games.
완료했다. 수송기 지원을 부탁한다.
Yeah, like it's fun to see that the FTC, or just fighting games in general, like they have a real conundrum, right? Because all the fighting games have kind of devolved into being super aggressive. Super aggressive, sort of less emphasis on defense and strategy, and more on like damage and offense. And so before it was like, oh well, we have Tekken to play, but then Tekken became like a super aggressive game. And then we have Street Fighter, which also became super aggressive. Street Fighter 6, you know. There's not like a super there's not a really good love of the SNK fighting games. You know, so Samurai Showdown and King of the Fighters seems like they're attaching themselves to Fatal Fury.
계승자, 작전 지역 도착 확인. 조심해서 진행하십시오.
But it's still, you know, dominated by Capcom games. And this it's kind of a weird obsession with Japanese fighting games. Like those are the only good fighting games, the ones developed by Japanese companies. And specifically Capcom.
광역 적용화 폭탄 투하 완료. 보이드 에너지 정화 작전 개시. 계승자.
You know, like if Capcom makes it, then it's a good game, even if they make a really bad game. Capcom gets a lot of passes for their games. All you gotta do is look at the Evo tournaments and the kind of the games that they have tournaments for. And then it's like they got so snobby that they're like, well, Guilty Gears and things like Dragon Ball. Well, those are anime fighting games. I'm like, you don't think Street Fighter is an anime fighting game? I mean, Street Fighter looks anime as hell. You know, it may not have like a you know, triple screen jumps or you know, 3-screen arenas, but I would kind of argue that that's also an anime fighting game at this point. Yeah, I mean, you could divide it into like 3D fighting games. Although when you're talking about 3D fighting games, they are primarily 2D games, and then you can kind of sidestep and move around the arena in 3D. But for the most part, they play like a 2D game. You know, I mean, you're just like facing each other. No, it auto faces you towards your opponent. Let's say if you jump over them or if you roll or something like that. So, like, even the 3D fighting games aren't really that 3D. They just have some additional movement options.
작전 종료 확인. 수송기 위치로 전송 대기 중. 수고했습니다. 계승자.
Yeah, I mean, Tekken's story is definitely anime. I mean, that story is way out there in the cosmos. It makes very little sense, and what they do have on there is just the most outrageous of the anime archetypes. Yeah, I mean, there's a certain level of toxicity
근접 항공지원 대기할까?
and immaturity in the fighting game community. And you're right, you know, I mean, they're just the nature of PvP kind of attracts that sort of person. And you know, it's not like tennis, right? Where it's there's like kind of like a gentleman rule. You know, where acting a little foolish is, you know, generally not considered good behavior. And I would say most of the people in like the tournament scene, I think they're mostly good.
전술 수송기.
But there's definitely like some man children in that crowd.
대인적
To me, the funniest thing is when I go see like when I see like a fighting game tournament. You know, if they have it live in person. You know, they sort of treat it like it's boxing or WWE. You know, they have like the two players stand face to face with in each other before the match starts. I'm like, you know, I mean, these guys are nerds, man. I mean, they can't look badass enough to have like a face-off. You know, it's not like you're watching boxers facing off right before the fight. I mean, and really the best players that are playing right now, I mean, there's nothing tough. There's nothing that looks up. I mean, they do not look tough, you know. So I mean, they really do look like children when they're just facing each other, kind of snarling and scowling. I'm like, dude, you guys gotta stop doing this. I mean, if you're wondering why people don't take esports seriously, I mean, that's exactly the reason. You know, I mean, and they can't help it. I mean, you know, you don't necessarily, you know, I mean, you don't need to bulk up to be good at fighting games. You know, you just have to have good hand-eye coordination, right? So, and that doesn't necessarily mean that you're, you know, you're hitting the gym or anything. You know, I mean, you can. I mean, I do see, you know, some players in the FGC that are not too ridiculous looking, but that's pretty few and far between. And then like I don't know, like the more childish somebody looks and behaves, then the worse it is when they do the face-off. You know, because you're like, okay, I mean, this looks like it's elementary school. This looks like it's like two kids in the playground. I mean, it's just this, the coolness factor is just not there. I don't know why they keep doing it. Like if you're watching people put in the esports like strategy game world, you know, the RTS world, then I mean they don't do that, right? They don't have guys like facing each other before the match, trying to look as tough as they can, you know, while weighing, you know, 98 pounds. in some cases, you know, weighing a fair number of pounds, but, you know, obviously that's not made of muscle. But still, you know, managed to be very, very talented at fighting games, or, you know, they're talented at playing the games, but, yeah, man, you know, not like buying a calendar with them on it, you know.
작전 종료 확인. 수송기 위치로 전송 대기 중. 수고했습니다. 계승자.
Can you imagine that? Like the FGC, like naughty calendar, you know, like they do with like a Fredericks of Hollywood, a Victoria's Secret calendar. It's like the FGC calendar. It's a good way to lose your appetite. Like I said, no shade on their skill. I mean, you know, the guys are usually super talented, especially the ones that show up, you know, in these physical tournaments. But man, you know, I mean, I don't want to beat them. I'd like to have their skill level, but you know, I'm not buying out of their fashion catalog. You know, it's like you know, the FGC, you know, sponsored by you know, sponsored by Shure antiperspirant. But you know, none of them fools use the antiperspirant. I mean, seriously, you watch some of the matches, and it's like, yeah, dude, that's got to be a weird smell there, you know. And those are one of the things where I can't say, well, it's not their fault. I mean, that's a thing that you can fix. You know, like a clean shirt and pants that are your size that fit. And, you know, just like a nice shave and a nice comb. Real basic stuff. You know, not asking for the world. I'm not asking them to get plastic surgery and look like K-pop stars. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't help like the top players. I mean, it looked like they just rolled out of bed. You know, you know. It's like, come on, man. I know if I ever get into a tournament, if I ever find myself, you know, being good enough to, or having time. It's not really about being good, I guess, necessarily, but if I ever have time to go to one of those, to an Evo event or maybe like a smaller tournament, I'm just gonna like dress in an Armani. Show up in a, you know, a nice expensive suit. Try to class the thing up a little bit.
계승자, 작전 지역 도착 확인. 조심해서 진행하십시오.
Yeah, like I said, I love my fellow nerds. I just, you know, want them to take care of themselves. That's all. Just, you know, go through the motions of caring. You know, especially if you're a high earner. Although it's a little tough to make money in the FGC. At least if you strictly depended on prize money.
아르케 수용체. 생명 반응 확인.
So like I get it, you know, I mean they gotta offer more prize money. Enough for somebody to buy a nice shirt and pants and some deodorant. I don't even think some of those tournaments even give you enough for that. I mean, Capcom was trying, right? You know, they were offering, I think the last tournament they were offering like a $1 million grand prize. But then you have to play Street Fighter 6. I'm not even sure if it's worth the money. Like, can we play a different fighting game and still get the $1 million? You know, because I don't want to spend the next 3 hours playing Akuma. You know, playing Akumas and Kens. I'd rather you just keep your $1 million if that's what you want me to go through. Or what's the other character? Luke? I think when they buffed up Luke, he became pretty popular. Which he's just a variation of Ken, who's a variation of Ryu, who's a variation of Akuma. And all of them are variations of Terry Bogard from Fatal Fury.
작전 지역 퇴출 시작. 고생 많았습니다. 계승자.
Pac-Man Champion DX. Yeah, I've played all those actually. I'm actually a big Pac-Man fan. Like I'm looking forward to that that Metroid style Pac-Man game. I know my friends when we play Pac-Man, the multiplayer Pac-Man. Like when they had Pac-Man versus with on the GameCube, and you had to attach all the little Game Boys. Everyone quickly found out that I love Pac-Man. Actually, I still need to pick up Fatal Fury. But I just dropped a bunch of money on the Switch too, so it's like, I
패턴으로 이동 중. 행운을 빕니다. 계승자.
mean, Fatal Fury is not going to go anywhere anytime soon. They're going to have like 2 or 3 years of content for the game. Although I did just buy that Claire Obscura Expedition 33, so I'll start a playthrough of that tomorrow. That one's looking pretty good. Although that will make like the 4th RPG that I'm playing.
정화작전 개시.
I don't know how I'm gonna get through all these RPGs.
외관을 점화시키고 원격 기폭 장치를 가동하세요.
I just hope it's like only 40 hours. It's not like 120 hours or anything like that. People make these games too dang long, you know? I don't know, it used to be in like the CD and cartridge days. You know, the games weren't long enough. But now every game is like 50 hours. At least. It's like I don't have time to play all these 50-hour games. That's why this game is so great, you know? I mean, you can just play for a couple minutes and, you know, accomplish a fair amount. Maybe you want to play for hours, but you don't have to. You know, none of these dungeons you ever play for more than 20 minutes. And most of them, if you have a good powered up character, I mean, you're finishing content in like 5 or 6 minutes. Which for some people is a minus, but I think it's a plus. Because I got other crap to do. You know, just give me my dopamine and let me move on. That might be an exception. I think a lot of gamers love the fact that some many games are like 100 hours now. I don't know. To me, that's like every book being, as big as War and Peace. It's like I don't want every book to be this big. I love reading, but when I see a book is like 1,200 pages, I'm like, maybe I'll read that later.
인류는 너무나 나약해. 그래서 우리가 꼭 필요하지. I've done that a lot too. Even if I have a book from my favorite author or one of my favorite authors, it's like, 1,600 pages. I will finish that, maybe never. It will just sit there on my Kindle, never to be read until I retire. Let's see, what else did we want to try this character on? I'll be on defense in the fortress. Yeah, I don't know about that. Yeah, I forget which book it was. It was like, really, it's like a super long book. But that's not necessarily a problem if you're reading a book, over a couple of weeks. The fact that it's long is not that relevant. It just depends on how dense it is. If I have to look up what words mean every couple minutes, then a book can feel like really long.
He's really annoying in this level. He's like classic Inez. Just sort of mows over all the opponents. You know, just does like a lot of damage over the entire environment. Whoops. God, he's so annoying. All the fire is opaque, too. I think he might be the new character that people hate. It's kind of traditional for this game. Every time they have a new character out, it's like a little bit too powerful and super annoying to the other players who are, you know, maybe not playing that character. We'll do one more before we end the night. Yeah, I think they'll tone down his fire effects. At least the ones on the ground, like they did with Serena, just because it's too much. I don't think they'll do anything about the fire being so, blocking everybody's view. That just doesn't seem like a thing that they ever worry about fixing. Oh, whoops! Straight into the ground. But the effect with the ground fire, I mean, I would think they're going to tone that down. Yeah, now that he's all powered up, he's really strong. I mean, my opinions of him are quite different than when we first started. Although he doesn't really have a lot of health. I think it's probably his only weakness, but I think it's probably a good thing he doesn't have that much health. Yeah, there's got to be some sort of balance, and I guess that's how they kind of go about it. If the character's really strong, they just give them just a small amount of defense and health, which you could try to buff up a bit through the various game systems. Where's the dude that got infested? It's like, where are you? I have no idea where you are. Huh. We still gotta play his story mode. His story mode missions. Apparently it's pretty good. But the Serena mission was pretty good too. Well, at least I thought so. Got a chance to see more play, more Eugen. Sometimes I get stuck on these ledges. Yeah, he's really good. Let's get them all powered up. And both the new Transcendent mods, you know, they have like a different kind of play styles, but they're both strong. I mean, the next level recipe is good for mobbing, and then killer recipe is good for bosses. I don't know how well he would do in the Void Purge. I think he might struggle a little bit, but for all the other mission types, which is most of them, I think he'd. Don't think he'd have that much. Don't think he'd really have any problems clearing content.
새로운 연구라면 나도 환영이지.
People might have a problem with him with his MP usage, like he does drain a fair amount of MP. But you know, you can kind of mitigate that with either arch tuning or some of your components to make it not as bad. Obviously, the longer the level goes on, then the harder it is to maintain the MP. But most regular sized levels, you know, he probably wouldn't run out. At least it doesn't seem like it.
그래서 이번 임무가 뭐라고? 요리? 아니면 방어?
사랑하는
That's right, I forgot I gave Clay the corn head. Corn head and the swimsuit are hilarious. Okay, why don't we stop it there? This is meowmurai. You've been watching the First Descendant running on PC. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching. I will see you at the next stream.